My Gavanan, and well met, Melanine. I am Arakir Galadirthan, head of Divide and Conquer, and welcome to a new Let's Play campaign to show off DAC in itself, but also a little bit to coincide with the release of 0.52, which was released today, or the 27th of October. I don't know when I'm going to put this up. I shall play as the Haven of Umbar. They start far in the deep south of the map, not in that connotation, and they are an infantry faction with a special emphasis on their heavy infantry. I also hope to do a Vale of Anduin faction video, Let's Play video, but I shall do that once I finish the faction overview videos, and that will take the place of that. So for now, we shall be the Haven of Umbar. So feel free to have a little read of everything that you can see in the campaign there, the starting location and neighbours and whatnot, but that's all been covered as well in the Umbar overview video, which should already be up by the time this goes out. But feel free to pause it if you wish and have a little read of each of these stats, each of these little features, and indeed the little bit of background to Umbar at the base there. Very hard is this difficulty I shall be going on, because that ideally is how the game should be played, on very hard. And we shall dive in. Unfortunately, that video is the Harad video, because Umbar never got their own video in the end, I'm afraid. But Umbar are indeed a DAC faction. Other mods do have a nod or a homage to Umbar, but in DAC they are their own faction. There is their starting scroll, and there's a little bit about them. Again, feel free to pause it if you wish and have a read of each of those paragraphs. You get a little bit backstory to your own. I won't just read through them, obviously, because that would be quite dull, but feel free to have a read yourself. And we'll go straight in. The fog of war is toggled because I was doing testing before I started, to turn that back off. And here we are, starting with our 4 regions. Peter Jackson holding down Gobel Tofilas in the north, or Ikramar as he's known in the game. And then we have our faction heir, Councilman Gassan in Khaldun, Aban in Ardamir, and Haven Master Kusai in Umbar proper. And as always with these, let's begin with towers. Towers everywhere.
This is a perfect position to ambush.
Umbar are quite a wealthy faction. At the beginning of the game anyway, so it's quite easy to, it's quite useful because you can get buildings that you want and get them in early. We'll go very high tax rate because pretty soon we'll be able to increase the growth of that town anyway.
An order.
And continue with our tower creation.
Escape your notice in these lands,
can't remember where the border is, somewhere down there, and we'll take Kusai and build one out here.
Nothing shall escape your notice in these lands, my lord.
Right, my goal, get rid of those. I'm not going to use ships at all for quite some time, as you'll discover in a moment. We will have one of each of those and that there. But we've essentially abandoned Gobel Tofilas.
Yes.
My goal is to attack everyone.
No further.
I hope to not make new allies with anyone. I'll keep everyone on, possibly on trade rights, but mostly I'll try and be at war with as many people as possible. And this will begin with the taking of the wealthy region of An Karagmir to our east, and thus securing the entire southern section of the map for Umbar. The downside to this will be that we will probably be excommunicated, or whatever the equivalent is in Lord of the Rings. Sauron will almost certainly call an invasion on Umbar, so we'll need to be prepared for that. And as soon as he does, Khand will absolutely lap up the opportunity to leave their home, their starting region, and come after us, because they don't really have any enemies to face.
By your orders. Yes.
So we shall prepare an army once we've towered everywhere, and we will march on An Karagmir, which is just here somewhere.
An order. Move! Nothing shall escape your notice in these lands, my lord. Ships ready. Yes, sir. Full sails.
And once we've done that, as I say, I'll never sign an alliance with anyone. I will get trade rights with people, but I will slowly push north on land and try and take Gondor, Dol Amroth, Mordor and Harad all down. And then once we reach a point around there, then we will move on and take Lindon in an attempt to win the game. Herumor, you are welcome to join our lands.
Yes.
Get as many generals as we can.
Yes.
Oh, rubbish.
We go no further today.
Overshot there, didn't
We'll
we?
stop here. We go no further to orders. By your command. Erecting a watchtower.
I have another one over there.
Yes.
Oh, there's gold in them there hills.
Our limit.
So we definitely want to mine next. Capitalise on the gold.
An order. As you command. Nothing shall escape your notice in the... My lord.
You head round there.
Continuing tomorrow. Yes.
You move to the hills.
Ships ready. I never liked sailing
Oh,
anyway.
no worries. Kramar's got it.
An order.
Down there.
Nothing shall... Yes.
You head over there.
Orders. We have marched our limit. Continue. An order.
All construction complete. Oh no, just go built over less. I'll tell you what we didn't do before we took Ikramar away. We didn't put towers on Tolthalas. Very foolish indeed. It would have been able to see the movement of the boats sailing around the island. Although we wouldn't, because I don't follow faction movement. And we are back in.
Yes. As you command, my lord.
Umbar
As you wish.
always strike me as
well-positioned.
the
An order.
real evil faction.
Move. We go no. Yes.
Because
as you command.
whilst yes,
Nothing
Sauron
shall
wants
escape
dominion
your
over the
notice
world,
in
and
these lands, my lord.
he's
Nothing shall escape your notice in these lands, my lord.
this guy doesn't shut up, does he? Sauron
We go no further today.
wants
Ships
dominion over the
ready.
world, so he's fighting against the freedom of almost everyone. But the forces of Umbar were at one time good. They fought for the side of freedom. They fought to keep everyone away from Morgoth long and long ago, and that's when the Númenorians were
An
gifted
order.
Númenor. They fought against Morgoth, and for their service to the Valar gave them the Isle of Númenor, which they raised out of the sea. So then you have to wonder. No, well, not have to wonder, but then that leads you to think that maybe these have a capacity to be more evil, as it were, because they once fought for the light, and now they fight for the side of against the light. So they used to fight against Sauron, and now they fight with him. Epitomised, of course, by Ar-Pharazôn, perhaps the most well-known Dark Númenorian, who captured Sauron and defeated him, and then through a series of separate events managed to promote him to his most important
Nothing
counsellor.
shall escape your notice in these lands, my lord.
You almost have to
We'll
think that
stop
they
here.
kind of got their downfall coming to them. If they're foolish enough to team up with perhaps the most evil human, the most evil sentient being
lord.
still in existence, with Morgoth being banished, then you have to think that's their own downfall. Now I can't select my general.
An order.
That was annoying.
As you
There we are.
command.
Right, we'll leave a barn. Oh no, we won't, because Ghassan is going to be he's going to be the
command.
steward of Umbar whilst we're away.
Continuing tomorrow.
But we're still waiting for units to train and buildings to build. So I just think that Umbar potentially they're the quintessential evil faction, because they used to be good and now they're evil, and there's no sign of repenting. So I feel like they're the ideal candidate to attack everyone, to be the faction where you make no allegiances and everyone's your enemy. Especially given that you're in such a good
An order.
location for that.
Yes.
Because obviously
Nothing
everyone
shall
is coming
escape
from the
your
north.
notice in these lands, my lord.
Everyone is coming
As
at
you
you from the
command.
north. So
My lord. Yes. Erecting a watchtower.
you don't have to worry
wish.
from so many. You don't have to worry
Yes.
from all sides. You can keep most sides covered. No fear of attack. I'll take a leather tanner once you've built the ports, and then if possible I'd like the Warlord's Hall, but I don't know how feasible that'll be. And in Umbar I'll get a leather tanner as well. As soon as we get those mines we'll get vastly improved income. So we'll take Ankaragmir and then we'll just see where we are, really. So that's the plan, is to attack everyone. So attack Harad and then push north, mostly leaving the eastern side of Harad alone, and we'll defend against them, and once I've got the money we'll push out there. But it should have the added side effect that it will be able to show us what Dol Amroth will do, and what they're capable of, because normally Harad keep Dol Amroth very much in check, but with Harad having to worry about me, they're not going to be worrying too much about...
Nothing shall escape your notice in these lands, my lord.
You would think that they might not be worrying too much about what Dol Amroth are doing.
Yes.
So we use that to our
Erecting
advantage.
a watchtower. Yes. Move!
Alright, this will be our army, so we've got to wait 2 more turns, I believe. And then we'll be ready. Oh, I need to show you as well, because I forgot to do it in the faction overview video of Umbar, but I'll show you how to trade an ancillary if you don't know how to do it, or you've never seen it done. I can show you, and then I'll show you again in the faction overview video that I do on Thursday anyway. But I can certainly show you now, because the ancillary for the heir is currently wasted on our current heir, Councilman Gassan.
An order, my lord.
Because he is already the heir, so he doesn't need the ancillary. But it's a feature of 0.52, if you've already seen that video or read the changelog, that you can now choose who you want to be the next heir. So from our family tree we can see that at the minute Herumor would be the next heir, and his son Ankantar would be the suggestive next heir after that. But if Ankantar comes of age first, and we'd rather have a blood relative, so the grandson of Kusai, then all we'd need to do is we go to Gassan. At the minute we'll give it to Herumor because it's wasted on Gassan, but it's not wasted on Herumor. And you will see now Grazie 2, you get a name drop because this picture is the same as yours on Total War Center. But Castamir's Battle Helm. It is a high honour to wear the Battle Helm of Castamir the Robbed, and that honour falls to the future heir to the position of Haven Master. So you take the ancillary by just clicking and dragging, as you can see I'm doing there, and then you quite simply slide it over the portrait of who you want it to go to. So we want Herumor to have it, so we drop it on Herumor, and then as you can see, his retinue expands and he gets the Castamir's Battle Helm. Now it's worth noting, just in case... obviously, well, it's reasonably obvious, but you might not think it. You have to the member you give it to has to be a family member. So if I had given it to Ikramar, it would have made no difference because he's not a family member. So as much as you might want Peter Jackson to be the leader of Umbar, unfortunately, because he's not at the moment in the family tree, he can't make use of that trait, of that ancillary. So they have to be a family member for it to even kick in. So that's how you change that. I'm quite looking forward to Umbar. I will admit that I've never played as Umbar. I've never played as even an evil faction full stop. So it's all news to me. Everything is going to be interesting and new. That sees us get a lot more money, which is brilliant because I really want those great halls. Which is good. I'm also looking forward to... I know that Umbar can train Mumakil if they take Ankaragmir, yes, and that's part of the reason why I'm going there.
Yes.
And in addition to that, we get something called a slave camp, and then I believe a control camp, quite possibly, and we can build it in Harad's lands, and it allows us to train a few Haradrim units from those areas, from those regions. It has before the barracks event, it has quite a few negative effects though, like it impacts on happiness, but it does give you extra money, and it gives you upkeep slots, and it gives you these 2 units. But then after the barracks event, it only gives you positive features, and you get to train Hashari, one of the coolest Haradrim units in my opinion. And so it's just a nice little feature. If you want to play as Umbar and you want to crush Harad, there's a small little building and a script related to that, so that you can almost role play it, but there or thereabouts. Hopefully our monetary system is now in place, so that when this army is trained in the next turn, or is completed in the next turn, we will train those 2, and then they'll be the defenders. We will not go into debt. We've got Leather Tanner in the other 2, but the army is almost ready. One final turn. Now I will admit that this is the second time that I've recorded this, because I recorded it and then I took Ankaragmir and the game crashed. And I don't know why I'm admitting that, because what's the point of admitting it? I might as well have just put that video up instead. But so this time I will save it before Ankaragmir, which I didn't do last time, so that was part of the reason. But and it was one of the annoying crashes where there's no reasoning behind it whatsoever. The script log gave me no reason as to why it crashed, and the only slightly remotely linked line was that one of these generals tried to get a trait or an ancillary, but his ancillary or his trait line was full, so he couldn't get it. But that seems like that should not crash the game. So I might have to have a little look into that, but we shall see. We'll drop that down to tax rate because they didn't like us. Right, we are losing about 200, but as soon as we take Ankaragmir, that will make no difference. So there we are. Let's hope this one doesn't crash. If it does, it won't really matter anyway because it will be around where I end the video. So I'll just end it, but let's hope it doesn't. As we go to take Ankaragmir. So I do hope that you enjoy this new Umbar Let's Play, if indeed you enjoy the other ones. As I say, I'll attack everyone, I'll make no alliances, and I'll try and make it as hard as possible, given that my Northern Dunedain campaign, I pretty much walked Angmar, and apart from losing Aragorn, I never really lost too many battles. And Dorwinion as well has taken a turn since the last battle of Howin's Bridge, and I'm now doing rather well. So I want to try and make one that's actually really tricky, but I don't want tricky to mean just lots and lots and lots of battles.
What is it you seek?
But in we go.
We should have known not to trust you. Pointless bickering does not interest us.
They're upset with us, but they're soon to be dead. Straight in, boys. Now save it.
The coward, my lord.
Umbar battle. Oh no, I don't do it that way, do I? We do battle Umbar. Save game. And straight in. That picture just then, interestingly, and that picture there are both from Kingdom of Heaven with Orlando Bloom. Legolas, as we all would like to call him, let's be honest. I thoroughly enjoy Kingdom of Heaven, and I'm well aware of the historical inaccuracies. But at least it's a Western film which paints Islam in a reasonably good light. Obviously most of them can't wait to line up and slam Islam, because unfortunately most people are uneducated. Alright, let's dive in. We want to pepper them with as many archers as we possibly can. Oh, last time I had 3 camels. I don't have 3 camels this time. And we shall take our generals to march in and do the damage. And also the Corsairs, actually. Let's take the pikemen. That's why we brought you. And you can all hopefully stay out of the battle. Time will tell. Right, straight in. Pikemen, march to the front. Bodyguards, bring up the back. And archers, charge in. Get everyone to run and times it to 6. Oh, of course the pikemen can't run because they're in pike wall formation.
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Oh, cavalry archers making a break round the side, I see. Oh, they're charging into melee. That's curious. Here are the forces of Umbar lined up against our enemy. I'd rather lose the pikemen before we charge them than anyone else. Oh, I'll tell you what we do actually. We'll flank them, What's your skill? Serpent Elixir. The pikemen push back the Haradrim archers. Arrows fly overhead and pepper the Harith, the upstart general within the small little village of Ankaragmir. It is so remarkable that this tiny village in the vast wasteland that is the Wastes of Harad, I believe this region is called, happens to be possibly the wealthiest region in the game. I just can't believe how wealthy it is. And you just wouldn't think it is, because it starts off as a village and there's nothing here. There's nothing special or remarkable about it, and then it just gives you so much money. So it is a wise general who uses the fruits of the desert. Right, let's speed it up again. Are we ready to charge through, team? Yes, we are.
Only half the enemy force remains.
Heavy bodyguards. Don't stop, don't stall, come on. Now interestingly, this unit has a shield and a sword. And they swap to their sword once they've fought with their shield for a while. But it seems to work alright for them. Often the melee units having 2 melee weapons doesn't really work. In this case it seems to be right. Right, we'll use the Corsairs to flank on the other side. The Corsair Savages can do so much damage. They're such a good unit.
Corsairs.
But you have to keep them out of prolonged melee or they fall. Because as you can see, they don't really believe in armor. And they have no shield. And that's reflected in their stats. They have no armor and no shield stats. So they fall really easily to arrow fire, and especially quite easily in battle. Their defense skill is 7 though, so they can hold up a bit. Pikemen seem to be doing alright. They will slaughter them on that side because they... Oh no, because if they've changed to their swords, they won't get their spear bonus. Although some of them are still using a spear and some of them are using a sword. I don't know how they decide what to change to. It's beyond me, I'm afraid. And our archers are not firing, which isn't good. The Corsairs are militia-style units, so they don't really get very good range or accuracy. Speed it up a bit. Swing round to our Savages and our Corsair Warriors. The Armoured Corsair Division. Just a little bit of leather, some actual clothes compared to these who basically just wear a cloth over their shoulders. Some of them do have a leather jerkin, but still nothing amazing. Pikemen are doing alright, taking quite a few losses. They often do, unfortunately, but they do. You can just throw them at your enemy, and that's kind of how you use them. They are expendable. Now we'll speed it up again.
Our men are in command of the city. We've lost control of the city.
See how well the Savages do. Come on, Savages, break in. There's 170 of them, and there's 70 of the enemy. Oh, we are losing them. We are losing them. Charge the warriors in as well with their sword and shield. Oh look, the Savages have a massive medallion. Oh, that man's been taken down. Step in and help a brother. He's skulking away. Doesn't want it.
Our men are in command of the city.
Oh, we've killed enough of them though to be in command of the city. Harith only has 3 men, including himself. He's over here. We've not really lost any general's bodyguard. I wanted to ideally only use general's bodyguards, so that because they replenish.
Our men have slain the enemy general.
Ah, Harith has fallen. It's only a matter of time.
Will lose their will to fight.
There are 12 of them left. Now there are 6. They're fighting to the death though, which is interesting.
This is
he's
clear
beating him down.
victory.
Clear victory. 222, 858, none left standing. Fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers crossed. Only time will tell. This is, of course, version 0.52, which is now available to everyone.
Such
Ah,
is the fate of
splendid.
all who oppose us.
It really doesn't like us taking that
Another
village, though, does it?
settlement falls before us. Victory!
Look at that. Look at that. It's ridiculous. 3,501, and it's a village with an 856 population. That's just mental. Absolutely mental. Now, of course, we can't actually train Corsairs here because this is not counted as a coastal region. Even though, of course, it does touch on the coast. But when this region was first created, this whole section here belonged to a region of Umbar, you may recall. Sakal and Dalayaf. The town was just here, but we removed that. So Ankaragmir should probably have a coast trait now, but it doesn't at the moment. So you can't get Corsairs here. So the entire Corsair army will have to just sit and wait. And of course it's far too vast to try and tower everywhere. So instead we will build a ring of towers around it.
Yes. We go no further to do.
Yes, my lord.
And then if anybody is beaten or retreats or anything like that, we'll be able to see where they're
Nothing shall
going.
escape your
Your orders, my lord.
So we'll have a tower there. We'll have a
Yes.
tower in the hills there.
an order.
A barn can go over there.
I've tried. Yes.
And Kusai, you can form the eastern
We'll
border
stop here.
of where we tower. Alliance in tatters. We're at war with the Haradrim. The relationship is poor, but we have taken this town. This is a slave camp of which I was talking. It reduces public order by a lot, but it increases the trade, gives you an income of 150 and an extra free upkeep. Or in the case of this town, an upkeep slot, because it's only a village, so you can't get upkeep at the moment anyway. And it gives you spearmen and archers. But you have to ask yourself if the massive decrease to happiness and law is worth the archers. And if you wait till after the barracks event to build them, you then get the Hashari and you get no negatives. So it's a bit of a gamble. But we will go in and we will build it. We now make good solid amount of money.
Need someone removed, sir.
We'll send our assassins north. So I think that conquest can mark the end of this first Umbrim video. I do hope indeed that you've enjoyed watching it. I plan to do the Umbar campaign along with the Northern Dúnedain, Dorwinion and eventually Anduin once the faction overviews stop. These videos will come up and go up on different times. Ideally Let's Plays will go up at the weekend, so stay tuned at the weekend for Let's Plays. Also please do enjoy and test and game with version 0.52. Let us know your campaign stories. I really like hearing campaign stories, and we rarely get to hear them. If you take a town and you lose 10 men and you kill 2,000, I want to know. Be as flamboyant in your description as possible. They're enjoyable to read. So feel free to post them wherever you want. YouTube, ModDB, although it's a lot less likely to be picked up on ModDB, and of course Total War Center. But for now, I am Arik Egardirth, the head of Divide and Conquer. Thank you very much for watching indeed. Thank you very much all for subscribing. I've almost reached 1,000 people, which I didn't dream of in my wildest. So thank you indeed. But for now, until we speak again, Melanine, of course, Navar Naden Pedimad, and farewell.